In LA this week.
To build or not to build? That is the question as the LA City Council considers the legality of granny flats or miniature extensions or units behind people's homes that would help build more housing here in the city of Los Angeles. I'm Gil Reyes with a story next.
Free college tuition. You heard me correctly, free. I'm Rasha Goel. Up next, more on a program that's helping students complete their higher education.
The drinking water in Watts is about to become much cleaner and greener. We'll tell you all about it next. Hello and welcome to LA This Week. Thanks for joining us. I'm Yana Kay. Well, 15 years have passed since the 9/11 terrorist attacks, but for many of us, it seems like just yesterday when more than 3,000 of our loved ones perished. It's a day that none of us will ever forget, and on this 15-year commemoration, Americans came together to remember. Rasha Goel takes us to one LA Fire Department ceremony.
David Brandhorst was 3 years old. He was the adopted son of Ronald Gamboa and Daniel Brandhorst. A friend of them said that, quote, Ron and Dan were wonderful daddies to David, who was a bright and curious child. Ron and Dan were also founding members of the Pop Luck Club, an LA organization that provides resources and support to gay dads and their families. Ronald, Daniel, and David all perished when United Airlines Flight 175 hit the South Tower.
Mayor Eric Garcetti recites some of the names and stories of those Angelenos who lost their lives in the September 11th attacks at this 9/11 remembrance ceremony held at the Frank Hotchkin Memorial Training Center.
Written on a wall of the 9/11 Memorial Museum, in the footprint of those mighty towers that were a symbol of who we were, are these words, quote, "No day shall erase you from the memory of time." They remind us that no matter how heinous the act, no matter how sudden the loss, no matter how deep the grief, no act of terror can ever erase that timeless bond we share with those people that we love.
The ringing of the bell to remember those who lost their lives in service 15 years ago.
To those who have selflessly given their lives for the good of their fellow man, their task completed, their duties all done, to our comrades, their last alarm, they are going home.
God bless America, our home, sweet home.
The men and women of the Los Angeles Fire Department remember the 343 New York City firefighters and paramedics killed that day while rushing into those two doomed buildings, as everyone else was rushing to get out. We remember the 23 NYPD officers and 37 Port Authority police officers who sacrificed their lives so others could live. We remember the 125 civilians and military personnel killed at the Pentagon. And we remember the nearly 3,000 civilians who perished in the towers and on those 4 airliners that day.
Those 3,000 Americans may be gone, but they'll never be forgotten, forging a lifelong bond between family, friends, and strangers from across the nation.
We come together to remember sacrifice. We come together to acknowledge courage. We come together so that we never forget, as Ralph and the mayor so eloquently said, those that have given so much for all of us.
Lord, now today as we go, we ask your continued blessing on this city, this country, and the world.
I'm Rasha Goel for LA This Week.
Now, this is one of several ceremonies held throughout Los Angeles. And as we remember the fallen heroes who made the ultimate sacrifice in 9/11, we also recognize local first responders for continuing to put their lives on the line every day. Gil Reyes gives us a glimpse into their personal lives during a special awards ceremony. Gil.
Well, Yana, with ongoing scrutiny of police departments, not just here in Los Angeles, but throughout the country, the LAPD is doing something a little bit different today, focusing on the positives by honoring 57 of their own men and women who've gone above and beyond the call.
Officer Josue Peña.
It's a bittersweet time for Hollywood Division Officer Josue Peña. Today, he receives the Medal of Valor, the LAPD's highest award for saving his partner's life during a shootout 2 years ago. But the honor also comes just days after his father passed away.
I went to the hospital where he was. I spoke with him, and when I told him that I was receiving the medal, I just saw the tears in his eyes and a big smile, even though he was going through so much pain.
Peña and his mom are headed to his father's wake immediately after this medal ceremony at the Westin Bonaventure Hotel. And that's the point here. These honorees from the Los Angeles Police Department are a lot like the rest of us, with families, concerns, and personal pain. Yet they have to put all that aside to risk their lives every day to serve others, even when they're not appreciated. And in some cases, going to extraordinary lengths to do their jobs. City leaders want to recognize that.
No question, if you watch the news, you'd think that everything is an officer doing something bad, when we know every day officers are doing great things. We depend on them. We depend on a great police department. That's what LAPD is all about, and that's what today is about, too.
This is the way that we tell our story. This is the way we tell our story to each other about what it means to be an LAPD cop.
57 officers receive awards for exceptional bravery in the field, death or injury on the job, and for the first time in this ceremony's history, de-escalation tactics to avoid violence in the field. But behind every honoree is a story behind the badge, a story about family. Officer Peña is grateful for today's honor.
It's not that we are any better than anyone else is, but it's a bonus, absolutely, to make us feel proud of the job that we've done.
In downtown LA, I'm Gil Reyes for LA This Week.
The honorees received Medal of Valor, Preservation of Life, and Purple Heart Awards. Well, the words college education and free don't usually go together, but that's all about to change as a new program promises to go a little easier on your wallet while earning a degree. Rasha Goel has more. Rasha.
Yana, I'm here at LA City College. Now, we all know college tuition can be expensive and stressful, but through a program called LA College Promise, the first year of tuition is being waived for those students choosing to attend a community college in the LA Unified School District. Crystal Cortez, a high school senior at Hamilton High and one of 6 children in her family, is among those in the program. She is hopeful and relieved about her college career thanks to the launch of the LA College Promise.
This program gives me the opportunity to be able to go to school full time, and I don't have to juggle work and school and taking care of my siblings as well.
No longer will our students have to worry about the financial burdens of what to do about college. They could focus on their education, they'll be welcomed in, they will have a seat in a community college in LA.
9 Los Angeles Community College District schools are part of the program. LA College Promise was inspired by America's College Promise, a national campaign spearheaded by President Barack Obama and chaired by Jill Biden, the wife of Vice President Joe Biden, to make community college free.
This is the promise that you can define your own future without having to worry about being burdened by decades of debt. That you can focus on school rather than having to juggle multiple jobs. And ultimately, we use the word promise because that's what we see in all of you.
This district, who led by the superintendent and this school board, has a 75% graduation rate, the highest that we've had, at least in modern history.
Eligible applicants for free tuition must be part of the 2017 class of graduates at LAUSD schools and qualify for in-state resident tuition. They will also need to complete their FAFSA or California DREAM Act applications.
My main focus with this opportunity, I will only focus on school and myself to make sure my career is fully fulfilled.
A commitment for a promising future. I'm Rasha Goel for LA This Week.
Now, Mayor Eric Garcetti helped raise about $1.75 million for the initiative through his mayor's fund, enough to pay for at least half of the cost of the program's first year. For more info on the program, go to lacollegepromise.org. While turning now to a hot-button issue for LA homeowners, at first the city said you can build one in your backyard, but then said you can't. The legality of hundreds of granny flats has been in question for months, but the city council may have finally reached a resolution. Gil Reyes has more from Jefferson Park. Gil.
Well, Yana, as of deadline time for the story, it appeared that the LA City Council was going to grant the wishes of around 217 LA City residents who want granny flats or miniature extensions or units to their homes like this one to be built in their backyards. But as for the future of more granny flats moving forward, well, that remains to be seen. On a 12-2 decision, the LA City Council votes in favor of allowing this unfinished granny flat and others in the pipeline to finally be completed.
The action we took today addresses an urgent need, and that is those who have been stuck in limbo.
Councilman Mitch O'Farrell referring to the more than 200 secondary units stuck in legal limbo for months. The city had issued permits for their construction based on California law. But a court ruling earlier this year determined those permits were not valid, based on a contradicting city law. Councilman O'Farrell says he consulted with the city attorney's office and the planning department to create a new ordinance, one that allows those units in question plus 17 more to finally be built.
It changes some minor language that we think will be more legally strong.
But Sarah Mansouri, whose granny flat was one of those in limbo, isn't convinced yet by the council's vote.
It does give me encouragement, but I'm very uncertain because every week that I show up here, something comes up. Somebody delays it or they add an amendment.
John Grikorchuk says he's invested $60,000 so far on his unfinished flat in Jefferson Park. And if there are more delays, it could cost him a lot more.
If that doesn't happen, then I'm in violation of my contract with my bank, so they increase my interest rates and they could, I don't know, they could foreclose if they really wanted to.
As far as additional granny flats moving forward, O'Farrell says the planning department is working on rules that will hopefully address the concerns of every neighborhood in the city.
One of the issues that one of my colleagues has is a constituent who has a so-called monstrosity in the backyard next door. So I think we should take a look at limiting height. We need to address the very real concern that some of my colleagues have in their districts so that you don't end up with two mansions on a lot.
In Jefferson Park, I'm Gil Reyes for LA This Week.
The City Lab think tank at UCLA says more granny flats could help Mayor Garcetti achieve his goal of 100,000 new housing units by 2021. Well, imagine for a second not having access to the internet at home. It's hard to imagine not having internet even for a few minutes. But many low-income families in East LA live without internet connection every day. But not anymore. Anna Marcos has more on a pilot project that's helping families get connected.
Lisette Morris is trying out her brand new access from AT&T internet service as one phone company bigwig looks on. But wait a minute. Why are there so many VIPs, including Mayor Eric Garcetti, at Lisette's house, helping her celebrate her new internet service? Well, for one, it's a huge leap over the digital divide for low-income residents at the Estrada Courts housing development. This is a pilot program run by AT&T and the Housing and Urban Development Department to hook up the World Wide Web for those who couldn't otherwise afford it.
It relieves me, to not have to always be at school, not always have to be at a coffee shop, being able to stay home and just work from home.
In this 21st century, that having internet access at home really, as many people have said, is no longer a luxury, it's a necessity.
For Lisette, it beats doing homework on your phone as she used to do.
I can do my homework on my computer now. Like, I don't have to be on my phone using all my data. I can have a lot of apps.
You just can't be successful in a school environment today without readily made available access to the internet.
And the price is right, too. Low-income residents who qualify pay only $10 a month for the access from AT&T Internet service. Apparently, even Lisette's Spanish-speaking mom is now getting cyber-savvy.
She searches up for her novelas. She searches up new recipes to cook for us.
The program is part of an even larger campaign by HUD called the Connect Home Initiative to get low-income communities connected to the information superhighway. And along with AT&T, HUD will host 30 of these events in pilot communities over the next year.
Thank you so much for sharing your stories with us. We at AT&T appreciate being part of the family.
And Lisette's family is already feeling the rewards of being more electronically interconnected. I'm Anna Marcos for LA This Week.
To find out if you qualify for the Access from AT&T Internet program, visit att.com/access or call 855-220-5211. Well, cleaner water, greener streets, and some extra science experiments for the kids. The LA Department of Water and Power's new 99th Street water treatment plant in Watts promises all of that and a jump to a more modern water system. Anna Marcos takes us to the groundbreaking.
This is groundbreaking indeed. Soon, all the hustle and bustle at this construction site will create the new 99th Street water treatment plant in South LA. LADWP crews are working to convert the city's drinking water disinfection system from chlorine to something called chloramine, which just means better drinking water for Watts. The Watts area has one of the last chlorine water systems left in LA.
Chloramines are really the disinfectant going into the future, and for us, they're longer lasting.
Our mission at LADWP is to provide safe, reliable, cost-effective water and power.
Residents won't actually be able to taste the difference in the water, but it will improve water quality standards and create fewer byproducts, which means healthier drinking.
It'll help us ensure that we have clean, high-quality water.
And students at the nearby 99th Street School will also see benefits from the project. They will get to conduct science experiments in the DWP's mobile water testing lab. And they can look forward to a greener school environment as well.
We are also equally excited to receive some free trees via LADWP's City Plants program, so that we can create a green outdoor classroom.
After this new plant, crews will still have one more plant to convert to create drinking water throughout LA that meets the highest new standards in water regulations. I'm Anna Marcos for LA This Week.
Chloramine, by the way, is a combination of chlorine and ammonia and is a lot more stable than chlorine. While the City Council throws its support behind a Metro ballot measure, connecting seniors to each other and city services, and a new service center in downtown LA is helping homeless pet owners take care of their pets. All this in City Beat. The Los Angeles City Council threw its support behind Metro's November 8th ballot measure asking voters to hike the sales tax a half cent in order to pay for public transit projects. Measure M needs the support of 2/3 of voters to win approval. If passed, the measure would enact a half-cent sales tax hike to fund a package of transportation improvements that include new rail and bus lines, highway improvements, and street repairs. More than 100 seniors from the 13th District joined Councilmember Mitch O'Farrell in Elysian Park for a resource fair that aimed to provide seniors with greater access and information to city and other supportive social services. The second annual fair included a performance by Senior Star Power, a troupe of professional actors and performers who entertained the crowd. A group of consumer advocates also acted out a public service announcement about senior scams.
Access to information is vital for us to learn about not just the services, but also grow with our age.
A downtown resource center for low-income and homeless pet owners is now open once a week at the Inner City Law Center offices, offering help with veterinary care, animal registration, pet supplies, and other needs. The Pet Resource Center is staffed by trained volunteer counselors from the group Downtown Dog Rescue, which works with low-income individuals who own pets. The center, located at 1309 East 7th Street, is open Wednesdays from 9 a.m. to 3 p.m. Visitors to the center will get free spay and neuter vouchers provided by the Los Angeles Animal Services Center, help with first-time animal registration, and more.
And then any other type of housing-related legal assistance that Inner City Law Center can provide to those people that they may be facing homelessness due to any type of pet issues that they may be having.
Well, it's not enough to beautify great streets. You also have to consider the needs of shops that do business along those corridors. That's why the city is stepping in to help these local businesses with loans of up to $250,000. Gil Reyes explains the Great Streets, Great Business program.
This new loan program made a believer out of Highland Park business owner Ruben Herrera.
I apply, I just get all my paperwork, and it's true.
Herrera, the owner of Devon Glass and Mirror on North Figueroa, applied for a loan and actually got it. He can thank the city's Great Streets program, a plan to spruce up 15 of the city's busiest streets with new planters, outdoor seating, artwork, and street improvements to entice more people to walk, bike, and shop in these neighborhoods. Now add another perk, loans. Between $1,000 and $250,000 loans for businesses located along these corridors. Mayor Eric Garcetti originated the Great Streets idea as a councilman, beautifying and providing financial help to the then struggling community of Atwater Village. The area has thrived ever since.
We saw that steady working with the businesses that were already there, or improving the pedestrian experience, or making things safer, or celebrating the art, could bring investment back.
The Great Streets, Great Business program also offers lease negotiation for companies.
Putting together a business plan, putting together a real financial plan, understanding what the market opportunities are. And there's some resources available to help small businesses do that. They don't have to do it by themselves.
Ruben Herrera says his loan will allow him to hire more than 12 new workers, something he never thought would be possible.
Honestly, I don't believe much, but when they told me about all these things and it's come through, like, wow, we need to tell everybody, come and apply.
On North Figueroa, one of the city's 15 great streets, I'm Gil Reyes for LA This Week.
And the city is collaborating with the Valley Economic Development Center to offer loans, about $4 million worth. To see if your business qualifies, log on to vedc.org/greatstreets. Well, what do the LA Dodgers and the LA City Library have in common? Well, motivating kids to read, of course, and so far the Dodgers have hit a home run. It was a blue day at the Arroyo Seco Branch Library, Dodger blue that is, as Dodgers manager Dave Roberts and his family read to local kids as part of the LA Public Library's Summer Reading Club.
This book is a little bit of American baseball and a little bit of Japanese baseball. In America, we drive to the game in our long blue station wagon. In Japan, we ride to the game in a short red bus. Literacy and reading, and it's very familiar and personal. And so I think that for us to have the opportunity to kind of be more familiar with the kids, it's just a great experience for everyone. In America, we cheer, get a hit, win, 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 go for it. In Japan, we cheer, do your best.
This is part of an initiative that the Los Angeles Dodgers Foundation has with the Library Foundation of Los Angeles. Literacy is a really big part of the foundation's focus in our work.
The Dodgers' special contribution to the library's summer reading program is called Read for the Win, and includes not only members of the Dodger family reading to kids across the entire library system, but game tickets, hats, and stickers for the young readers as well.
I think having the importance of reading and why books are important and why it's so important for young people to read is a message that everyone is responsible for, and we want everyone to carry that message. Certainly our mayor carries that message when he speaks to audiences, and it's great to hear the Dodgers communicate that message too.
And when the reading was all done, it was time for a Dodger tradition.
It's 1, 2, 3 strikes, you're out at the old ball game.
The library's summer reading program ran through August 6th. Well, from reading to dancing, as folks boogied on down to Northeast LA for a free weekend of outdoor performances. Gil Reyes has more from the Latin Jazz and Music Festival.
This festival in Highland Park lured Tomas and Pauline Cesares out of their home and onto the dance floor.
Tomas loves music, and he said there's going to be a festival at Sycamore Park. I said, where is that? He said, off of Figueroa. We said, vámonos. We got in our car, got our stuff together, aquí estamos. We love the city of Los Angeles.
The Latin Jazz and Music Festival was all about expressing this Northeast LA community's eclectic vibe.
They have a combination of various types of music. It's not just salsa, Latin jazz, and of course we had Cold Duck, which is sort of a top 40 band, which is phenomenal, and one of the biggest dance floors anywhere around.
Funding is not city funding. We've got sponsors, plenty of generous sponsors, community partners that see our vision of bringing culture and art to our district. They have generously donated and made this possible.
The Office of Councilmember Gilbert Cedillo organized the event on this, its third year. There were 13 acts over one weekend.
And I think the musicians are amazing, and they're not appreciated enough in our community. And the fact that Gil Cedillo chooses to use his money and resources this way is awesome to support local talent.
And it generates a lot of interest, especially with the culture and the music, because it's all what? It's all one thing, universal, right? Dance is universal, music's universal.
In Highland Park, I'm Gil Reyes for LA This Week.
Well, satisfy your cravings for fresh pasta and sweet sausage as an Italian festival dishes out all your favorites. See your favorite podcaster in person and enjoy some smooth jazz at one of LA's coolest venues. All this in this week's Things to Do. Garlic and pasta lovers, it's the weekend you've been waiting for. The Galbani Italian Feast of San Gennaro, Los Angeles unleashes everything Italian culture has to offer during one tasty weekend. In 2002, some of LA's most prominent Italian-American citizens got together and produced the first annual Feast of San Gennaro in Los Angeles, offering 3 days of enjoyment for the entire family. So join friends and family and celebrate Italian culture, food and entertainment, live music, street performers, strolling musicians, a kids' corner, and many rides and games. In addition to sampling wine from local wineries and food from some of LA's best Italian restaurants, guests can learn recipes from the cooking stage. It all takes place September 23rd to the 25th in Hollywood. For more, visit feastofla.org. Los Angeles Podcast Festival, the premier live podcasting event, brings together the biggest names in podcasting for a week-long blowout in LA, ground zero for a medium where many of the top shows are based. The annual festival unites podcasters, their special guests, fans, and the podcasting industry to celebrate all things podcasting. It all happens September 23rd to the 25th at the Sofitel Hotel located at 8555 Beverly Boulevard. For more, visit lapodfest.com. Jazz at LACMA features the art of jazz as practiced by leading Southern California artists. Celebrating over 20 years at LACMA, the program continues to be one of the museum's most recognizable offerings. Jazz at LACMA is a celebration of LA's finest jazz musicians. So relax and enjoy some jazz for free on Friday, September 23rd and the 30th. For more, visit lacma.org. And that's a look at some things to do. Well, that's going to do it for this edition. I'm Yana Kay, and from all of us here at LA This Week, thanks for joining us. A reminder that you can catch us online at lacityview.org. You can also follow and like us on Facebook. We'll see you back here next week for more of LA This Week.